two big issues. We always throw the toughest things at Arise Business Analyst Chika Mbonu. One, the Dangote Group, Vice President of Oil and Gas at Dangote Industries, Divakumar Edwin, has accused international oil companies in Nigeria of working to frustrate the survival of the refinery and petrochemicals. In a release, he said the IOCs are deliberately frustrating the refinery's efforts to buy local crude by jerking up high premium price above the market price, thereby forcing it to import crude from countries as far as the United States with its attendant high costs. Speaking of high costs, inflation 33.95 year on year in May. How do we bring it down? Of course, we're seeing month on month kind of decelerating, but Nigerians are still complaining of high prices. It's impacting corporations. Who better to give us the answers to all of Nigeria's problems? Arise Business Analyst Chika Mbonu. Good morning. Monday morning to you, Chika.
I want to assure you that if I have the solutions,
you would have been
you know where I'm the side of the country I'm from.
Exactly.
And I'm selling them in bottles now. Inflation busters. 10
Exactly.
naira. Inflation solution for sale. 10 naira. In the luxury bus, in the plenary room, I'm selling it.
Everywhere.
I'm selling
Sales.
it. You know.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
Yeah, but be that man, I mean, you don't need to be everybody in Nigeria now is feeling the inflation.
Yeah.
I'm sure that. Let me not attack you this morning. Even bachelors, like you, are feeling the inflation. Everybody who's providing, money to anybody to go to the market, on the way to the studio now, my driver who happens to be a Muslim told me that it was so bad that people were cutting up the ram or whatever and giving it as raw meat. Wow. Because they couldn't afford the price of pepper and tomatoes to do the other things they normally would have done. I can't validate that, but that's how, whether you enter a bus or whether you stay in the road, wherever you are. Yeah. In the meeting rooms, everybody talking about the price of pepper, price of tomatoes, price of rice, price of bread. Yeah. Literally everything, has gone to the roof. What of drugs? Also. But inflation, I've spoken about that in this program several times. And I said, there's a reason we'll go to school, so there's a definition of inflation. It says too much money pursuing too few goods. Yes. So if on one side, you have too much money, which in this case, Nigeria is naira, too much naira, pursuing too few goods that we have in the economy. So it means that there's more naira to buy the goods. Simplistically, therefore, if you want to resolve inflation, what people do or the people in authority do is to reduce the quantum of naira. This time they call it money supply in the economy, so that the less money will be pursuing the goods available. In that way, the price will be moderated. Yeah. Now, it happens therefore that, again, when we've gone to school, there are two key segments in the economy: the monetary side and the fiscal side. The monetary side of every economy is driven by the central bank of that country. Yep. And then the fiscal side is driven by the politicians in power. Let me just take 1 more minute to push that through. Of course. Now, the power of the monetary policies as initiated by the central bank of a country, basically to manage money supply. Remember, it's the money supply, quantum of money that drives inflation. So what happens is that the central bank of the country uses various tools to drive those money supply down or up, as the case may be. That is why that each time that the Central Bank of Nigeria, when they hold that by a monthly policy committee meeting, yes, the summary of the deliberation, pipes down to 3 parameters. The first one they say is a monthly policy rate. The next one they talk about is cash reserve ratio. And the next one they talk about is liquidity ratio. Yep. Those are the tools available to the central bank governor to reduce or to increase money supply in the economy. In this case, since we are chasing inflation to bring it down, what happens is that is called tightening. You're tightening the liquidity in the system. So you're reducing the quantum of money in the system. So what happens again is those tools available to the central governor, the interest rate, they increase it, so it becomes expensive to borrow. Right. And also there'll be less money in the system. The cash reserve ratio, they increase it so that there'll be less money available to the banks to lend. Again, reduce the money in the market. The liquidity ratio, the same thing. So those are the tools available to central bank governor in reducing money supply. Remember, I said the principal role is managing money supply. using those tools. One is monthly policy rate, which is the interest rate in the system that gives direction of the interest rate. If they increase it, the banks will increase the interest lending rates. In that way, you can borrow. If you borrow less, more money available to spend, reduce the quantum of money chasing those few goods. Cash reserve ratio, basically, for every 100 naira the bank brings, for example, Central Bank says it must keep, a particular percentage with us.
Right.
Now, the CBN governor, current CBN governor came in when the cash reserve ratio was about 30%. Now, in chasing this inflation to bring it down, he has moved it to about 45%. Now, the monthly policy rate, he came in at 18.75. Shonibi was at 18.5. Shonibi moved to 18.75. So he has moved now to 26.25, almost about 800% basis point, they call it.
Yeah.
But it's like 8% increase.
Yeah.
The liquidity ratio has remained the same. Now, let me take a step back. Now, people have asked, why inflation? Why not other elements? The way I illustrate it for our viewers is that when you take your old father or a family person who is sick to the hospital, who has high blood pressure, is going to want to do surgery and other things, they don't go and cut him open and start doing the surgery until they bring down the high blood pressure.
Yeah.
No matter the sickness, they want to bring, because if they go to the operating theater like that, he will die on the operating theater, on the operating table. So it's the same thing. When inflation is run away in an economy, no matter the other problems in the economy, you must run down that inflation at a manageable level before you can do other things. That's why Central Bank was chasing this inflation to bring it down. Now, as I close there before I move to the fiscal side, the thing is this, that, remember I mentioned there are really three key tools available to Central Governor.
Yep.
Monthly policy rate, which is at 26.25 now, he made it at 18.75. Cash reserve ratio, which is at 45% now, he made it at 30%.
Yep.
We could show that. The limitation for the monthly policy rate is that, like armed robbers come into your house, and you have a bullet that has a gun that has 10 bullets.
Yeah.
If you fire those nine bullets, how many remaining for
Just have one left. Yeah.
So CBN governor now, as Nigeria as it is, may have only 1 or 2 bullets remaining in his gun. Because will you move cash reserve ratio to 100%?
That will have consequences.
Remember, it's 45% now,
Yep.
which means every 100 naira the bank brings in, it can only lend out 55 naira.
Yeah.
So if you move to 100 naira, it means every deposit they bring in, they can't lend out. So there are limitations to the tools the CBN governor can use.
Yeah.
What I've gotten as a result of that is the the rate of increase have been moderating. Now let me explain to our viewers. It's like, pardon me, before the increase has been like this, month to month, up like this.
Right.
Now it's like going gradually.
Yeah.
Unlike before, it was increasing month by month like this. So it's going gradually now. So we are seeing some impact of these policies, even though it has not reversed the inflation increase.
Yeah.
So hopefully something will happen down the line. But as I said, the CBN governor is almost near out of bullets.
Right.
And that's the issue. So it immediately switches us to the fiscal side.
Yeah.
Now remember, we said on one side is what? The money, the quantum of money in the economy.
Yeah.
Chasing too few goods. The CBN governor, and that's one of the major failing of the former CBN people, was about controlling they entered the right side, which was goods production of goods. How do you increase the quantum of goods available in the economy so that they can equalize with the money that's in the system?
Yeah.
And that has been the problem. So go to the market now, they tell you tomatoes is, when you pick about 1, 2, 3, they tell you about 10, 15,000 naira. Whether it's price of bread, tomatoes, or Maggi, or sardine, or even Indomie, whatever it is has spiraled out.
Yeah.
So you will find that inflation for Nigeria now is at 3.95 headline. But the food inflation, which is the major one, is about for almost 41%.
Yep, that's right.
Which is the major thing.
Yeah.
So what can the government do to make sure that the quantum of food supply increases? Because it's the paucity of the supply of food that has caused the problems that we have in the country. Now, we know that the food belts are in one part of the country, mostly in the north, and a lot of the consumption takes place in the south.
Yeah.
Now, there was something they were pushing around last week on a trailer load of tomatoes coming from the north. How many states it goes through, the kind of taxes that they tax them, before it finally lands in my 12th market in Lagos or other markets in the south here.
Yeah.
Those are things within the control of the government.
On the fiscal side.
On the fiscal side. On the fiscal side.
Yeah.
What can the government do to make sure that the supply chain, I don't want to use big words now, that those trailers moving from north to south, bringing yams, bring tomatoes, and come down safely with the minimal multiplicity of charges in most over states.
Yeah.
So that the tube of yam that leaves a state in the north at 100 naira. By the time you add all the taxes, illegal taxes that they charge, crossing about 6-7 states before they get to Lagos, for example, the price more than doubles, even triples, and those increase inflation.
Yeah.
So that's very important. What do we do as a government? This is within our control. Can the state governors come together and say that, we will now ensure that the trailers who are passing through our states are protected, carrying goods are protected. Now, there are, of course, long-term things we can do in agriculture. It has been a problem in Nigeria, how do we preserve harvests?
Yeah.
Because these tomatoes that is all up, getting to this, if you go to the north, some places, they are getting rotten. Wasted.
Yeah.
Because the post-harvest losses in Nigeria, sometimes, a lot of reports have said it's up to 40%, 50%. So how do you preserve that? I'm just saying that we require the willingness. The solutions are there, especially on the fiscal side on agriculture. What do we do? What the governors do? What the federal government do? What do the ministers do to help the food belts and the harvests that come from there come down to south at literally about the same cost, so minimal costs, especially to the supply chain. Of course, the bigger issues in the country about security.
Yep, thank you. You talk about that a lot.
About security.
Yep.
I mean, in Nigeria, after a time, we get used to things. I'm sure the farmers in the north, a lot of them now, I mean, we read, I don't physically with me, but they read, they say, before you go to the farms these days, you have to pay. You want to plant your seedlings. You want to harvest, you have to pay. This is increased cost.
Yeah.
How do we elevate security also? Now, one thing I want to do is that good things happen to the Nigerian economy when good things happen to oil.
Right.
You cannot force me away from that oil. I will go back to how God has blessed us in this economy, oil.
Yeah.
Now, you have seen what's happened. We pushed out, for example, and said, when Dangote refinery comes on stream, it will reduce importation of finished products. Yeah. And then because the crude is coming from Nigeria, and the cost will be whatever. But now, we save foreign exchange, and you have salutary impact on our FX market and reserves. But now, look at what we're reading. That now they're getting the crude now. They're spending foreign currency that was supposed to be saving, importing crude from all over the world to be able to use a refinery in Nigeria here.
Yeah.
The ordinary we should get the crude from Nigeria. I mean, the IOCs have replied, I've read, also saying that the infrastructural issues, the problem issues, the low production issues. But we have been singing this, we have been screaming here in this program here for a long time. And as I said, with the willingness, the president of our country should declare a national emergency in oil production.
Yeah.
And let's go there and make sure we resolve the issues there. So as I said, everything good happens to our country when things good happen to oil.
Arise Business Analyst Chika Mbonu, thank you for the breakdown. We're going to keep the focus on inflation and how to get it down in Nigeria. Thank you so much for your time. Really appreciate it.